Hey, Amanda. Where in the world have you been? We've been trying to get in touch with you. And why aren't you answering any of my phone calls? If I didn't know better, I'd think that you're trying to avoid me. I haven't heard anything from you lately. So I'm getting a little worried about Derek's condition. What's his status? How is my son doing? And are you spending enough time with him at the hospital? He needs you there.
Oh, hi, Terry. How are you? Sorry, I wasn't able to answer your calls. I've been very busy at work. So I haven't been able to answer the phone a lot of the time.
Even if you're at work, you should be able to at least keep in touch with us and update us. It's not that hard to just answer the phone or pick it up and call us.
Sorry, but today was really busy, and I just couldn't get back to you. I apologize.
Please don't make excuses. It sounds insincere and dishonest and makes you look lazy. So, how is Derek doing? Is he getting better? Any improvement?
His condition is pretty much the same as it's been. Not really better or worse, but mostly stable. So I'm glad for that. But it does seem like he's getting a bit more sleep than he was before, little by little. So that's something of an improvement from how he's been.
I see. So he isn't really getting better, then? Just staying the same? Status quo?
Well, he is making an effort to eat sometimes now. Which is also a good thing for sure. We should be thankful for that, too. They said that he probably wouldn't have much of an appetite for now. But it seems like that didn't turn out to be the case.
Still, that doesn't mean that he's actually getting better, does it? Sounds like he's pretty much the same as before.
Well, that's probably true overall. We just have to wait, see how things go, and hope for the best.
Well, I haven't given up yet. Not in the least. Not at all. I'm just thinking about how he's probably going to have to keep fighting this illness for a while yet. It's been a long battle, and he must be tired of fighting it. Isn't it probably better for him to be taken care of at home now? That it's getting close to the end? Better to be at home than at the hospital when the time comes.
He says that he intends to fight until the end. And that he has no intention of coming home to die. So I'll respect his wishes and keep staying with him at the hospital as much as I can. And I feel like I want him to keep going and keep fighting. Even if it's only one day at a time. Just gotta keep fighting and hope for the best. It may be selfish of me to feel that way, but it's the truth. And that's because I don't want to lose him.
Then why don't you spend more time with him at the hospital? Attending to his needs and giving him moral support? He definitely needs it from you now. You shouldn't just be going to work as usual while he's going through all this. After all, this isn't just a head cold that he's got. He's fighting for his life. I'm sure that my boy would love to have as much of your devoted support as possible now that he's in such a critical situation.
Of course, I agree with you on that. And I want to be by his side, too, as much as I possibly can whenever I can. But, unfortunately, if I don't work, we can't pay our bills. That's just the reality of the current situation. We have to have money coming in.
Wow, you really are a cold-hearted person sometimes. Is that really all there is to it? It's just about money? Surely there are things more important than that. I mean, if it were me, I would even go into debt. Just so that I could be at his side during his time of need. Why aren't you willing to do that for him?
Well, Derek is telling me that I should keep working and making money. So that's what I'm doing. It's as simple as that. He and I are on the same page. And I'm actually headed over to the hospital to see him right after we finish this call, so that'll be good. We can eat dinner together. I am making a point of seeing him every day. It's my one and only mission in life. There's nothing more important to me than this now.
Oh, is that so? It's funny that you should say that. It's interesting because, I've been thinking a lot lately. And I wonder if marrying you is what caused Derek to start having all these health problems that he's now dealing with. It makes sense to me.
What? Just what are you trying to say to me, Terry? What are you getting at?
What I'm saying is that you've been a jinx for him, a bringer of bad luck, a curse, even. I mean, just look at the big picture. You married him but haven't given him any children. And then he got sick and he's been in and out of the hospital ever since you two got together. And now he's bedridden and we don't know what's coming next. It certainly doesn't look good, that's for sure. The chain of events is pretty clear to me. He was always happy, went to good schools, and had a good job. Then it all turned into a nightmare in the blink of an eye when he married you, Amanda. All the money we spent on tutors, extracurricular activities, and the rest of his education has also gone to waste. What a shame.
Please, for Derek's sake, don't say such things. None of this was caused by him. He's always done right by both you and me.
Oh, I'm not blaming Derek for any of this. None of it is his fault. Not at all. But his judgment about you has definitely been poor. Because no matter how hard I try to see it from his perspective, I'm just amazed that he let himself get involved with a low-class woman like you. He should have split up with you right away. But, of course, he wouldn't listen to our advice on the subject, as usual. That's how he's always been, hard-headed and stubborn. My brilliant son only became like this after marrying you. A single mother with only a high school education and nothing to offer him.
Terry, please. Save this for some other time. Now isn't really the time for all this, is it?
Oh, isn't it? Then when is a good time for me to say it to you? I've held my tongue for too long now. I can't keep quiet about it any longer. And it's always been obvious to me that you are bad for my son in every way. I see no redeeming qualities in you. But Derek has always been your ally and supporter and has defended you. But then he got sick and then couldn't take care of you anymore. That's why I'm saying all this to you now. The time has come.
Terry, I am sorry I haven't been the daughter-in-law that you wanted me to be. I really am. However, I fully intend to be the best I can be. And to take better care of him than anyone else can. Like I said, it's my one and only mission in life now. So I will continue to love and support him with my full effort and devotion. Just as I have been doing throughout this ordeal. You can count on that.
You'd better. It'll be a real problem for everyone if you dump him now. After he's gotten sick and can't do anything useful. That would be a disaster for everyone involved. After all, who would look after him then? Us? We certainly couldn't take care of him the way that he needs to be cared for now. Look. Just do what you're supposed to do as his wife and then leave us alone, okay? Don't forget that he's counting on you, and so are we. Just give us regular updates on his condition and let us know if anything changes. It's your responsibility. It's all on you.
Okay, I understand and will keep taking care of him as I have been. By the way, are you and Bob not going to visit him in the hospital at all? You still haven't been to see him, and he's wondering why.
About that. No, we won't be going yet. And that's because we're old and we need to be careful not to get sick. Who knows what kind of germs we might catch? If we go and hang around a place with that many sick people in it, that's just asking for a case of the flu, COVID, or who knows what. Plus, if we got sick, that would just be one more thing for Derek to worry about, wouldn't it? That won't do. Not at all. It's best not to take that risk. So no, we won't be visiting him at the hospital out of an abundance of caution. That's actually another good reason to bring him home, by the way.
Oh, I see. I guess that makes sense. It'll be hard to explain to him, though.
But we're obviously thinking of him all the time. I mean, always. Always sending our thoughts and prayers. And it's precisely because we can't go visit him that we're in touch with you like this, too. Your role in all this is crucial now. So you better be sure to tell him that we're thinking of him, okay? Don't forget.
Of course, I don't mind doing that for you and for him, but, Derek is still able to use his phone. So wouldn't it be better if you and Bob called him and told him that yourselves? I'm sure he'd love to hear from you. It would make his day.
No, thank you. Talking to our child whose life is hanging by a thread? I just can't. That's just too much for us to handle. Too much for us to bear. We're too old and fragile for that. I'm afraid it might cause Bob to have a panic attack or worse. Can you please think a little more of how that would make us feel? Try to see it from our perspective for a change. This is why inconsiderate people are such a problem. They never think about others' feelings. I mean, good grief.
Oh, okay. Well, I apologize, then. Oh, we're almost at the bus stop for the hospital. I have to go now. Have a good night, Terry.
You'd better take good care of our boy. He's the only son we've got. That's pretty much all that you're good for, so don't screw it up.
Terry, do you have a minute to talk right now?
What do you want, Amanda? I'm about to get in the bathtub for a nice long soak.
Well, it's about Derek's condition. There's been a change, and not for the better, unfortunately. The doctor told me today that we need to start preparing ourselves for the worst case scenario. I think we should listen to him.
Huh? What happened?
Yes, there's been a sudden deterioration in his condition. They say that they were able to save him this time. But next time he might be in much more serious danger. And might not make it through that again.
Oh, is that so? But why haven't we heard anything from you until now? Are you too busy to call us again? I thought I told you to let us know if his condition changed.
But I did call you. I called you and left a message. Didn't you listen to it? Please check your missed calls. I did call you and I did leave a message just like I promised you I would.
Oh, no. It looks like you actually did call us. So sorry. We were outside, and I didn't notice your call.
So when are you coming to see your son? He needs your support now more than ever. He's asking about you.
Let me think about it. But you say he's okay now, right?
Yes, he's stabilized now, but it's not 100%, and last night was rough. Who knows what'll happen next time? It's delicate and extremely touch and go right now. So I really think that you and Bob should come here and see him as soon as you're able to. It'd do him a world of good to see you both.
Okay. We'll come if he's in danger again, for sure. Definitely. So just give us a call when and if that happens.
So, are you saying that you're not coming to see him today? Seriously?
What? No, not today. You're going to let us know if something happens again, right?
But if we proceed on that assumption, he might actually die without being able to see you.
What can I say? If it happens, it happens. We'll just have to hope that it doesn't. Anyway, he has you looking out for him, right? That's the most important thing. And tell him that we'll go visit him soon, okay? That'll make him feel better for sure.
Okay, I'll tell him that, but
Fine. Then I'm going to get in the bathtub now. Let us know if anything else comes up. Amanda, come back here. Where do you think you're going? We're not done talking yet. What do you think you're doing, running away in the middle of this conversation like that?
I have nothing more to say to you. The conversation is over.
Oh, no. You're not getting away that easily. You really are going to be the disrespectful daughter-in-law all the way until the end of this, aren't you?
Are you serious? After the cremation, you actually slapped me in the face, Terry. How did you expect me to react? You went completely insane. That was totally out of hand and uncalled for. You should be ashamed. If the family hadn't intervened immediately, I would have called the police.
That's a complete exaggeration. Bob and I were just noticing how disrespectful and inappropriate you were being.
What on earth are you talking about? What did I do?
I mean, you were all smiles after the funeral. Smiling ear to ear for all to see. Shameful. And I didn't see you shed a single tear. Not one. You were laughing and talking with all the relatives, just as happy as could be. What is wrong with you? Bob and I saw all of it with our own eyes. Don't try to deny it.
That's because I was relieved for your son and my husband. Derek had been desperately fighting that sickness for such a long time. He was tired and he was in pain all the time. You'd know that if you'd ever visited him at the hospital. And he was finally released from all that pain and suffering. That's what I was thinking about when I was smiling. His being free from pain and suffering is a reason to be happy, not sad. It's too bad that you're unable to see that.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. Not for a minute. The truth is that you're happy to get your hands on his inheritance, isn't it? You are well aware that my boy was due to receive a large inheritance from his grandfather, aren't you? That's the real reason that you stayed with him. Took care of him and didn't divorce him. You had your eyes on that inheritance all along.
That's a disgraceful accusation. That money had nothing to do with Derek and I being together. I loved him.
Yes, well, the words of an uneducated single mother simply cannot be trusted. They are a shallow and stupid breed of human, as I've said many times before.
Terry, you have no cause or right to speak to me this way. You are completely out of line, once again.
At any rate, we were extremely upset by your behavior. It was just unseemly and unacceptable. And we won't be giving any inheritance to a daughter-in-law who's so happy at our son's passing. And since you say that you don't care about the inheritance, that's okay with you, right? No complaints, right? I mean, you weren't with him because of the inheritance anyway, right? You said so yourself.
Of course. By all means, take it all for yourselves. I don't want any of it. Even if there were something that Derek left behind for me, I couldn't use it anyway. It's all yours. I'm also going to be moving out of our house as soon as possible.
What? Moving already? Really? Why? But that house is practically brand new. It's only been a few years since it was built.
Yes, that's true. However, I will be moving out soon.
Are you saying that you don't want any of your inheritance? None at all?
That's correct. I have no need for it anymore. I mean, you have no intention of giving it to me anyway, right?
If you say that you don't want it, we're certainly not going to give it to you. Why would we do that? You're serious about what you're saying right now, right? Let's be perfectly clear about it and have no backtracking later on. Because, if you come back later saying that you changed your mind and you want it after all, we're not going to give it to you.
No problem. That's perfectly fine by me. It's all yours. Take it. If you're that concerned about me changing my mind, we can write up an abandonment of inheritance. Shall we do that?
Sure, let's do that. That's a very good idea. Okay, then. Go ahead and put that plan into action as soon as possible.
All right. I do have one thing to ask in return. Although it's not a precondition or anything like that.
Oh, do you? What now? What else do you want? I'm not entertaining any unreasonable requests from you. Keep it within reason.
All I want is your promise that you won't bother me anymore ever again after we do this. That's what I want, and I also want to keep Derek's remains. I will decide on the burial place before the mourning period ends.
Is that it? That's everything? Nothing more than that? In that case, we're more than happy to oblige your request. We have no intention of ever getting involved with you again, either.
Understood. Fair enough, then. It's settled. Well, then. I will be in touch once I've taken care of the abandonment of inheritance. Thank you for everything.
You're really a lowlife. Is there nothing you won't stoop to? Where in the world are you hiding out? Come back to the house right now.
I'm sorry, but that's not possible at this time. I've already moved out and I'm in my new place.
It must be somewhere nearby, though. Where is it? If you won't come here, we'll come to you. Where's your new place? Give us the address right now.
No, I won't be doing that. You agreed to cut all contact with me. Remember? Don't forget our agreement.
But you're the one who didn't hold up your end of the bargain. Why is Derek's inheritance nothing but debt? We're really screwed. This is untenable. Where's all his inheritance money from his grandfather? Where did it all go?
Oh, that? I donated all the money to a worthy charity before Derek passed away. Derek wanted it that way.
What? What are you saying?
As you know, Derek was suffering from an incurable disease. And it seems that he wanted that money to be used to help others who are suffering from similar afflictions.
What are you talking about? You donated all of it? All of it? There was over $200,000 there. Not to mention that the mortgage on the house isn't even paid off yet.
When we bought the house, we still hadn't received any money from his grandpa. And Derek was still healthy and working back then, so.
But usually, that kind of loan is supposed to be paid off when you know that the borrower doesn't have long to live. Why hasn't it been?
We were able to pay the mortgage with just my salary. So that's the way we left it.
That's just what I'm saying. That's not how it's supposed to be done. Leaving debt unpaid when you know that money is coming in is just. Why would you do that? And on top of that, he's got unpaid credit card debt as well. All there is debt. Nothing but debt.
What can I say? He was bored in the hospital, so he did a lot of therapeutic shopping. It made him happy.
You're the wife, and you should have been paying for that.
Hey, I had already signed off on my abandonment of inheritance, as you know. And as for the credit card, Derek said he got it back when he was in college. And Bob was the guarantor for it, so now you're responsible for that, too.
Just what are you trying to do to us? Are you saying that Derek never had any intention of giving us any of his inheritance?
Yes. Sorry to say it, but that is pretty much what it looks like to me. And that is also what he wrote in a letter to me. And asked me not to read until after he was gone. So yes, we can safely assume that he had no intention of giving you anything.
And you abandoned your inheritance, knowing about all this beforehand?
Of course. After all, it was my husband's final wish, and I intended to honor it. It was my duty to honor it, in fact.
What are you saying? I don't understand. Why has he been so cruel to us? We raised him from the time he was a baby. This is horrible. Cruel. That's not the kind of boy I raised.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that he was thinking the same thing about you and Bob, Terry. I mean, you didn't even go to visit him in the hospital when he was dying. So that's why he left you nothing but debt. What comes around, goes around.
What? What did he say that we did to him?
He told me that you didn't care about him, always ignored him. And made him do only what you wanted him to do, not what he wanted. And he didn't like the way that you bullied me, his loving wife. Once again, what comes around, goes around. So, when Derek finally got his hands on Grandpa's money, he decided to spend it with joyful abandon. And that's just what he did. And you know, after he got sick, he told me that he believed that you and Bob were just waiting for him to die. I think that he probably wanted to get back at you for never even once visiting him while he was in the hospital. I can't really say that I blame him.
We were thinking of him and worrying about him in our way. He should have known that.
Were you really? Honestly? After he got sick. Didn't you say that raising him had been a waste of time and money?
No, that's not true.
If you're not comfortable with this inheritance situation, you do have the option of declaring personal bankruptcy. It's a possibility.
Personal bankruptcy? You've got to be kidding. No, thank you. I'd rather we just forfeit the inheritance ourselves.
No, that won't work. Because you've already taken possession of a few $1,000s in that bank account, haven't you? And I also heard that you've already gone ahead and moved into the house. Is that also true? So, is abandoning the inheritance even an option anymore? Somehow, I don't think so.
Huh? What do you mean? We can't give up on the inheritance anymore?
I apologize if I didn't explain earlier. I'm not well versed in these matters, I'm just a college dropout. It might be a good idea for you to research this independently or consult with an attorney. These issues are quite complex, and I lack the education to advise you.
You knew about all of this and deliberately kept us in the dark? How petty and vengeful. Regardless of any past differences, this is crossing a line. We're Derek's parents, and we're your parents-in-law. Doesn't that mean anything to you?
Is that so? In my opinion, this was the inevitable outcome. Frankly, I'm surprised you didn't see it coming. Considering how you've belittled my high school education and status as a single mother. Is there anyone who would want to assist someone who treated them poorly for so long?
Derek canceled his life insurance. Did you also know about that? How are we supposed to survive now? This is a disaster.
I have no answers. It seems like you and Bob need to discuss and consider your options.
Wait, Amanda. You and I are in similar situations, you know.
How so?
We've both lost someone we love, our son and your husband. We're experiencing the same grief and pain. Why not support each other through this? You mentioned earlier that your salary is substantial. You also said it's enough to cover the mortgage, right?
Don't equate us. We're not the same at all. I loved my husband deeply, but it seems all you two care about is money.
Okay. If you assist us now, we will apologize, make amends, and give you the credit you deserve but never received from us. We will treat you with respect and honor you as our daughter-in-law.
No. There's no need for that now. It's far too late. The love of my life has found peace with the angels. It's quite absurd for you to ask anything of me at this point. Derek is probably having a good laugh watching all of this from up there.
Please refrain from saying that. It's just unkind. Please consider returning to the house you helped build. Then we can all live together. Isn't it challenging to be all alone?
Certainly, being alone is tough, but living with both of you would be 1,000 times tougher.
Don't you feel any sense of obligation or connection to us anymore? After all, didn't you assist with some of the wedding expenses?
Ha! You promised to help, but in the end, we never received any financial support from you.
What? Really? Is that what happened? I don't recall that. All right then, I'll take care of all the household chores and manage everything for you, Amanda. How does that sound?
No. I'm perfectly capable of handling all those tasks by myself, so, thank you. Besides, I have somewhere to be, so you'll have to excuse me now.
And where exactly do you need to go? Perhaps you're visiting Derek's grave?
No. I need to go to the police station.
Why are you going to the police station?
Because you slapped me, remember? I have to file a police report about it. It's a straightforward case of assault.
What? You're doing this now, after all this time?
Well, it's my decision when to report it. Unfortunately for you, there's no statute of limitations. It appears a family member is willing to act as a witness for me, too, so.
Wait a moment. Amanda. Please. Please forgive us.
No, I absolutely will not forgive you. I intend to hold you accountable for the terrible way you've always treated me. It's only fair, after all. Following that, Terry expressed her desire for me to withdraw the police report. Nonetheless, I consulted with an attorney, insisted on a settlement fee from her and Bob, and successfully received the money. Ultimately, my in-laws refrained from filing for bankruptcy. They sold their house, relocated to their previous residence, and seemed to still be managing the debts left by Derek and the outstanding mortgage from the house's sale. Their return to the workforce at their age is rather disheartening. It appears they're circulating a rumor blaming me, of course. According to my sources, they've gradually become social outcasts, alienating their own family and neighbors due to their unpleasant attitudes and money-centric behavior. They believed my husband's passing would bring them financial gain, but it turned out quite the opposite. For me, this serves as the most satisfying revenge. I wasn't privy to Derek's plan at the time, but he did confide in me when he was alive that he couldn't leave me an inheritance. Nevertheless, I still wanted to be by his side. And I have no regrets about donating all that money, none at all. Because I loved him. I also wanted the funds to benefit those in need. Fortunately, I have some savings from before my marriage. And while Derek was alive, he regularly showered me with extravagant gifts. They were consistently lavish presents, and back then, I thought they were excessive, but now I comprehend his intention when he mentioned that these gifts were meant for a time when I might be in need. However, I have no intention of parting with any of them. And I'm determined to forge my own path. These possessions hold many cherished and happy memories for me. I will cherish them. And I'll continue living my life to make Derek proud from up above, knowing that I'm doing just fine.